same room as me.
Yes,
So,
I know. It's exciting, isn't it?
yeah, you're not going to hear that. All right, we are live on the old YouTubers, getting ready to talk a little Alien. Um, gonna have some fun. Um, Hopefully, we have some of our returning people. Let's give it a few minutes, right? The returning people
Yeah.
can maybe come and see us again. And yeah, this is gonna be a fun one, man.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you see a little bit now, Andy.
Yes.
If you look behind me,
Yes.
you will notice that this photo, this picture right here, is different from when you were here last time, and it may give you a hint of what is to come. Just a hint.
I have to zoom in a little bit here.
May give you a hint of just saying, I'm not, that's all I'm going to say. May give you a hint of what is to come.
I'm having a hard time seeing what it is. I can see it's a building, but
You'll get it. You'll get it when you get here. Trust me. You'll get it. All right. Do you want to start this?
I am ready when you are.
All right, cool. We're live on the YouTube, so let me start the show. And oh, you know what? That's the one thing is, see, it's always good. I forgot I need to reverse my recorder because it's always good for me to know that A, we're still recording, and B, how long have we been recording? Sorry about that mic noise, but no one's going to hear that because I wasn't recording. All right, here we go. Oh, wait, hold on. Welcome back, everyone, to Pod Huggers, an Alien Earth transmission coming to you live from the DVR Podcast Studios, not in Portland. Check us out at dvrpodcast.com. Subscribe to Daily DVR to get all of our awesome podcasts, like our new NFL podcast, Around the Couch, where there's four guys. We just have fun. We talk about NFL. It's very fun. We just have a good time. You'll love it. And this weekend, actually, if you like this Alien Earth podcast and you like our other podcasts, we are having a DVR podcast, not in Portland extravaganza. Andy, Heath, Brett, and Joe are coming to Not in Portland to my home, which I am live in now in YouTube. If you see me, I'm in a different location because we're going to be podcasting all weekend long. We're going to be podcasting about Alien Earth. We're going to be doing film lists about great old films. We're going to be watching the Lost documentary and talking about it. And also, Heath and I are supposedly in it. I still don't have confirmation on that. We'll see if it's true. We're also going to be doing NFL podcasts, picking the games, talking about the games, doing all types of YouTube stuff, all that. So stay tuned to this channel. Stay tuned to Daily DVR Podcast. I'm going to try to get things as soon as we record them. I'm going to try to post them everywhere. So Patreon, what have you. But I do want to try to go special for the patrons too. So we may do some video only Patreon stuff as well. It's going to be a great weekend. It starts on Saturday, goes Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We hope you all join us. Let's get to the show. Alien Earth, Episode 5. In space, no one can. Dot, 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 dot. We all know what that means. Written and directed by our showrunner, Noah Hawley. Andy, how are you doing? And how did you enjoy this maybe best hour of television this year? How did you like it?
Well, other than spending the last 3 days just scrubbing out every single water bottle I own, I agree with you. I think this was phenomenal
Yeah.
television. I've seen some mixed reviews on this, and I understand some criticisms of this episode. I think others are completely no, I'm not sure what show they're watching. I thought this was awesome. Just awesome,
Yes.
awesome TV. This is the show I was this is the best case scenario what I was hoping for this show to be, and it I think it hit it out of the park.
I'm so glad you said that, Andy, because that's exactly how I feel. I loved this. I was riveted from begin. Well, I'll have to be honest with you. In the beginning, now I knew somehow that this episode was going to have to do with the Maginot. I
Yep.
was spoiled just by some images, okay? But I didn't know if it was going to be finding the aliens, the 65 years we didn't see, or just before the crash that we saw flashes of. And I know in my director head, well, they already shot all that shit. That's probably what we're going to see, right?
Yeah, the little bit that I knew going in is on the official podcast last week when they signed off, the host said something about, and we'll be back next week to talk about the adventures of the Maginot. And then I knew the episode title was In Space, No One. So I
Ah,
suspected we were getting the flashback episode. We had kind of talked about we figured that was coming sometime this season or more flashbacks. So I assumed we were going to see some of what had happened, but like I said, I didn't know if it was going to be them collecting stuff or them right before they crashed or what it was going to be. So either way, I was fine knowing that little bit of spoiler. It just got me more excited, and I thought it delivered.
yeah. Yeah, see, I'm only saying, I prefaced that by saying I was just a tiny bit disappointed because I was hoping in my mind, even though I knew they shot all that other stuff, most likely that's what we're going to see. I was hoping we were going to get to see them going to like five different alien planets and doing like an interstellar type journey, okay? Because I love spaceships. But it took me approximately a half a nanosecond to not to be happy and forget that I even had that notion because the way this was shot, the music, I know, of course, everyone's like, it's just a copy of Alien. They did that in the first episode, half of. You know what, people? I don't give a fuck. It was fucking awesome. Awesome. When you. That is. And what it reminds us all is that in the same way of 2001, films like even The Matrix, films that are seminal, that become archetypical, that people who don't have a history of film, like Ando and I, of course, and you listeners, because you're all super intelligent and we love you, will often not understand homage or understand that the person making it knows that and they are taking it as its own genre and elevating it and reinterpreting it in a way that not only highlights the amazing nature of the original but shows what an amazing creative talent Noah Hawley is. And all I can say is, why has this guy spent so much time on Fargo? Do more sci fi crazy shit because this was amazing.
Um, Before I respond to that, because I want to come back to that whole what you just said. Solo is in the chats, and he said he can hear me just fine, but he says your volume is a little low.
Okay, you know what I'm going to try to do? This is very boring for people on the podcast, but for those on the YouTube, I'm going to try to move the mic maybe to over here. Is this better?
Oh
Maybe
yeah, that sounds better.
does that sound a lot better? Does that
We'll see
sound better?
if Heath responds in real
Yeah.
time here. But
I'm just going to put it at the edge of my seat right here. So it's actually, you can see it now. Oh, but I don't want that wire to touch it. That could be bad. Okay, cool. Now I
okay,
think I'll
so
probably sound a lot better, right?
yes, that's it. Sound coming through much clearer now.
Awesome.
The Have you listened to One Mike's review of this episode yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, because he actually was a little disappointed in this episode for a lot of the reasons that, and part of it, he said that he made the unfortunate decision to watch the original Alien earlier that day. So like he thought a lot of this was a retread of the original show, he didn't dislike it. He was a little disappointed
Well,
in it
I
for
could
some of
see
those.
that. In that
And
case, you watched it right
yeah,
before you
and
might,
that's
you
because he
know
said
what I
he hadn't watched it
mean?
in decades,
Yeah, come
and he's like,
on.
and even he says in his video, he's like, I probably would felt better the episode if I would have watched the Alien movie the
Yes.
next day
Of
instead of
course.
the same day.
See,
So
I mean, he knows about film
yeah,
and
exactly right.
he dissects this shit. So, look,
Yeah,
I'm not saying if you feel that way, you're an idiot. I was being, and obviously I was joking being a film snob,
yes,
but I can of course understand that. I
and
always understand that, but that's just that argument is kind of you either accept it or you don't, right? Like
mhm.
you because he did an amazing job. You can't argue with that.
Yeah. And that was what I was saying. Like some of the complaints I've seen about this episode, I understand. Like that one, I understand. If it does, it is a little bit of that, but I actually like that. I wanted to see something get closer to back to those original two films
Yeah.
because we had kind of strayed so far off of that in the Alien universe that
Well, I think
I like the way this is done and the
yeah.
attention to detail to it.
Oh, Andy, everything, and we've said it before, the dissolves, the music, the lack of music and just hearing
Yeah, just
breathing or a
or just the
sound.
sounds, the set designs, the
Right. The isolation, when we think about the fact that Wendy can speak to the alien or speak in that language, which, by the way, hey, we were onto something there when we talked about the eyeball being able to hear it because we saw the eyeball
and
call out too, right?
That I don't think this is what it is, but it sounds very similar to the noise a certain predator makes from a different sci-fi
Ah,
series.
yeah, definitely.
So
Which, by the
what?
way, don't
Oh,
let me forget, I have my old books I want to show at some
oh
point.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
But yeah, no, it's he is playing with not only what exists as we've talked about before inside of what we as an audience watch, inside of the film, I should say that the characters experience, but as he plays around with the whole structure and theme, that's what I'm saying is like Alien is an archetype of how to make this horror sci-fi film, this monster movie in a spaceship. And it had been done many times. It had been done before. I mean, there's the 50s and 60s are littered with monsters in a spaceship movies.
Yeah,
This
I think
element,
the original was based on Thing from Another World was one of the
yeah,
major influences on it, which was
yeah,
what 1952 or something like
O'Bannigan,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys who created this creature too have a long history of they know what they're doing, right? And
Hmm.
so I just I appreciate that is what I'm saying. I appreciate kind of like the tip of the cap, but if it's boring and it doesn't also possess its own strength as a film or a TV show, we wouldn't like it, right? But that's why I like this so much because I loved every I love the fact that Andy, the alien, a xenomorph being on the ship was like their least concern of what was happening.
I
That's why
know.
everybody who was saying that this was just like a alien, it was also in the opposite of alien.
And it's like I think it's time to just say that the T. Ocellus is the best new thing in Aliens since Aliens. Like since Hudson and Hicks showed up, this is the best new character since that's this whole thing is
It's
that right there
amazing.
was enough difference from the originals that I'm like, this is worth it just for that creature. So
and
awesome.
and they told us, right, like in the beginning we talked about it, Andy, and you so smartly you outlined what each creature was, and we talked about it in our preview. The name of the show is Alien Earth. Everything is an alien, the people are aliens, you know what I'm saying,
The
like
synths, the hybrids, everything else.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's so brilliant to create to like it's almost like a backdoor pilot for the Eyeball show.
I
This whole thing.
know. And I would watch every second of it.
Yeah. And that's kind of smart too, because one of the problems, and Howley talks about this in his interviews, one of the problems, and one of the things I really kind of love about this show is so much of Alien has been the stupid Star Wars and fucking Marvel bullshit and everything. Let's fill in every fucking gap so you can understand everything. And what he's saying is, I'm not going to do that for you. I'm going to give you a little bit here. He can shoot it with a gun and stun it. We've learned this. We learn a little bit. Oh, there's an experiment. It feels new, even though it does take place before
Yeah.
everything. It actually feels the newest because it's going against that urge and it's introducing new things so that Alien isn't always center stage.
Hmm.
You
I
know, I love it.
yeah, it's there's listen to one of the interviews of Holly gave this week too, and how you had mentioned you hope that we would have seen them going to collect all these things. One of the things he said in that interview, just because I'm thinking of it now, was that part of the reason he wanted to direct this episode was because this was his Alien movie, obviously, but he still thought you needed, with Alien Earth being the title, you still had to have some alien in space thing. It couldn't all be in. And they've said that they want this to go 4 or 5 seasons. I could see one episode each season being this is them finding the Ocellus, or this is them finding the ticks, or
Oh, I love that.
I think that would be a cool
Yeah.
way to go back into outer space every season when everything else is going to be
Yep.
on Earth.
You are thinking long range. I almost, Andy, I have to tell you, I kind of feel like a kid at Christmas a little bit, where I don't want to think that my next present is going to be as awesome as the present I just
I
opened, and
know.
then they keep on being as awesome, and I keep on like I really there's a voice in my head that says there's no way they can give this a season two. It's too good. Like they'll
It's
fuck this up in some way. It cannot be this good. And I don't want to be one of these podcasts and everything where everybody's just like circle jerking around the show. We can talk about there's certain issues, I understand them. But I know that a lot of people listening agree with me and their geek boners are at full staff.
it's
You know, Commander, you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
well, if you look on some of the like and I haven't done this a whole lot, but I'm like, this episode is so awesome. I'm going to see what other people are saying about it. And you go into some other Facebook groups and things like that, and they'll always be the people that are bitching about it, and they'll have 5 or 6 likes, and the people that say, I don't know what you guys are talking about, this is awesome, have like 4,000 likes.
Yeah,
So
of
I think
course.
I think
I
it's a very
appreciate it.
vocal minority that's
Yeah.
nitpicking this thing.
Well, now that we're here, let's go to the second thing and then we're going to talk about the beauty of it, okay? Which is a
Yes.
lot of people have complained that the crew is dumb. I've seen this everywhere. This
Hmm.
crew is dumb. They're not even worried about the xenomorph. They don't know, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to just break this down. One, they've been on a 65-year mission. You have no fucking idea what they saw. You have no idea how they got these aliens. To them, it's rote. They are not a bunch of hardworking,
It's
blue collar people on a ship who are
mhm.
super surprised that a fucking alien is killing them.
This is mundane to them. It's been their job for so many
Yes,
years and they're
exactly.
stuck there. And I mean, when you're working and when you're in a place like that, your entire life is work because you literally
Yes.
live where you work. So of course you're
Hmm.
going to be bored to tears. They've
The
also
guy said
said,
it. We've been stuck inside breathing our own stale farts for
yeah,
65
and the
years.
one guy is like, it's only whatever 15. I don't remember what he says. 237 hours and 19 seconds.
Yeah,
Not that anybody's counting.
exactly.
I mean, it's
Yep.
there's and they've another thing about them being dumb is they have made a point to say a couple different times how many people have died on this mission. Even that's why the one guy turns traitors because his it says my significant other had bugs eat or bugs crawl under her eyes and eat her or whatever the hell he says. And
Yeah.
so the best of the best are probably already dead. Like
Yep.
the apprentice engineer doesn't know what's going on. Guess what? The guy that turned is the head engineer. So the other people are they're bringing people up into these positions that probably shouldn't be there. They're not smart enough to be in this spot. Plus, we know Wayland pays minimum wage. They are not going to spring for the best of the best. They're going to spring for people that are expendable and cheap.
Yeah. Thank Andy. You're
That's
amazing.
I want to
We should
rant
do a
on this.
podcast about
Yes,
this show, Andy.
I know.
Um,
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I also want to make a point that Noah Hawley makes in some of his interviews, but that's present in the text and what we've been talking about, which is one of his points about this show is that human beings are animals. We're aliens. We're uncontrollable, crazy creatures too. We're dumb.
Hmm.
We just do things. And one of the things I loved about this is this really reminds me of that dog near the dumpster on fire or whatever, like everything's okay picture,
Everything's
right? That
fine.
we all have
Yes.
posted over the past decade, right? Like, what the hell's going on in the world? Nobody knows. We're all fucking dumb. So, and me included, people, I'm not trying to say I'm some super
Oh
intelligent
yes.
person who
We
sees
are
this.
definitely
I am a
dumb.
human being too. So that's kind of a point of the show. Look at look at Boy Cavalier. Look at how he acts with his, like, he is trying to make a point here that we as a species have become cavalier with our own lives, with each other's lives, with what we have created, with technology, with nature, with everything. And that is kind of the point of the show.
It's
So if they are
and
more, I'll just
yeah,
finish
yeah,
this
yeah,
one
yeah,
out and
yeah.
I'll stop,
Yep.
but I know you're going to agree with me. If it, what it, they are more concerned with their own lives, the guy they're fucking, the Tang wants to stare at some chick and touch her boobies through the glass. They're mad at him than they are with impending climate change doom, aka. That's the point. So I under sometimes you have to trust the creator a little bit. And I know you people want to be cynical, and I'm a cynical person too. But I don't know. I just love the show. So what were you gonna say, Andy?
Um, what was I gonna say?
I'm
I
sorry.
completely lost my. I'll come back to me in
I
just a second.
apologize. Shit.
No,
I
you were
want to do
going.
what
I just
Andy said.
I'll think of it. Bring something up again.
I
It'll come
think
back to me
that
in just
you
a
were,
second.
I was talking about how we're all human, we're all animals, we're dumb, we're
Oh yeah, yeah.
learning, we're fast
The
trooping out of control.
characters being dumb is a hallmark of this series. I mean, in the
Thank
first
you.
Alien movie, granted they're more space truckers than they were scientists, but they're
Yep.
not smart in that one. In the second one, Ripley even says, "Did IQs just drop sharply while I was gone?" I mean, she is even saying, "You people are idiots." I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
they're Prometheus, obviously, in Alien Covenant. That's one of the major complaints people have in that too, is the scientists are dumb. But they have people have always been dumb in this series. That's I think one of the hallmarks of the series is do humans deserve to survive? I think that is a running theme in this
Yeah.
franchise,
Yeah.
not just this series. So
And that's like the, oh, and by the way, hello, bath time. Thanks for coming back. He says he or she, I'm not sure, didn't enjoy this one. Um, but I hope you rewatch it though. Enjoy, at least you enjoy us talking about it. I
yes,
think that's brilliant what you said, Andy. That's very true. And I think that, I mean, like going back to the original Aliens, where they're basically like a bunch of like blue collar miners,
hmm
coal miners or whatever, on it that get an alien going after. It's not, that is a, the whole Weyland-Yutani, the we choose our own pain. There's a learning. There's a lot of concepts involved in it, and I think it is easy to say people act dumb. But then again, we do live in a world where on the interwebs everyone is a fucking genius, but then as soon as you walk outside the door, everyone's a moron. So I don't
uh-huh.
know how that is. I don't know how that everybody on the internet knows everything about like Roman history or some bullshit, but they can't tie their shoes and drive a car without looking at a phone. So,
uh-huh.
I mean, it's not exactly like he's wrong. That's why I enjoy this show, because I'm a person, I think you are too, Andy. We are sci-fi kind of futurist people. We like to look ahead. We think about like the course of humanity, how we got here, the different Homo sapien species that existed before us. We are alien people. We are aliens ourselves. You've got Neanderthal DNA inside you, folks, while
And
you're listening to this.
the other
And
thing that
plus
I
about four other types.
the other thing that I think is kind a little more subtle, but I think it's also a point Hawley might be making here is especially in relation to Morrow's character, because Morrow he says that he was on the streets, I mean he had to do all that, and he
That's
didn't have the resources and the technology, and I think the technology is making people dumber, and I think that's also a theme in this show. They're relying on the technology to be right, and they're not really thinking like they should because they're so used to it's like the whole smartphones are making people dumb kind of conversation. I think that's a part of this show too.
Well, not our kids, Ando, because we ain't giving them a fucking cell phone.
Never.
They can read a book, motherfucker. Speaking
Yes.
of, before we get into the awesomeness of this episode, and thank you. That was a great discussion, by the way, Andy. Um, I and by the way, Solo, when I said Commander, I was talking about you. I want to show to the YouTube people, but I found because I moved my where my podcast studio is, and waiting for you guys, I found three books. Here they are, my three alien books. Ando, everything okay?
Yes. I was trying to read the comments. Sorry. I
Okay. Well,
yeah,
I
no,
wanted to,
I'm
but I
still
actually want to show you. See
yes.
my three alien books that I read, and I have more because I read the novelization I have of Alien and Aliens,
Oh
but
yeah,
Aliens Genocide by David Bischoff, a sci-fi name people remember,
for sure.
a Alien vs Predator called Prey by Steve and Stephanie Perry, which is Alien versus Predator, okay? And Aliens, because I had more books. This is book three, The Female War. So they did a
Ah,
lot of novels.
I know there was a ton of them. I
Yeah.
never read any of them.
Yep. And actually, in a recent interview I read, Howley talked about in one of the books, he talks about how he read he kind of looked at the, so it's not like he doesn't know the lore. He
Yeah.
knows what's in the books and the comics, and he's read them and all that
Yeah, he
kind of
knows
stuff.
all that stuff. One of the first
Yeah,
ones I listened to this week said that he actually talked about the black goo and Prometheus and stuff. So I mean,
yeah, yeah.
he knows all of it. Bath Time wants to know if are those novelizations of the comics or are they actual just novelizations?
Um, these, I believe that these are actual. Well, I'm not sure. That's a good because
He
it's.
says he says that Alien Earth War is 100% a comic book that he read at one
Oh,
point.
okay,
So,
interesting. That's interesting. Oh, this one you mean the female war?
I'm not
Maybe
sure which
it
he'll
could
have to, I'm
be.
sure he'll comment.
I mean, they definitely have a more. It looks. I don't know. That would be a long series. Maybe it's a novelization of a series. But I have my receipt because I was one of the people who used my receipt, and I can't. I want to try to hold it up to the light, but the actual Andy can see this. The ink has like worn out,
It's
but
just a piece of paper now.
I'm pretty sure I bought these in either the late 80s or early 90s,
Yeah,
maybe.
that is the one he was talking about. That one you put up, that
Okay,
one you asked about. So,
interesting, cool. So then, yeah, because it does say Dark Horse on these. Oh yeah, oh well, this says Dark Horse too. So, but it could be that they had the rights and they did
hmm
comics and books. But anyway, people, there are, if you're interested, I bring it up because if you love this world, there is a lot more than the movies. There are really fun books, and if you are into reading, they're like fun, they're like kind of fun summer reading beach books, I guess you'd call them. You know what I
hmm
mean? But they do have a lot of the cool sci-fi stuff in them. And of course, just looking at the pictures is fun too because it's like with, you don't get
Yeah.
awesome. Like imagine having that original painting hanging on your
Oh,
wall or something.
yeah.
That's cool, man. All right. So that was book time with Billy, a
Yeah, the
special
book corner, yes.
book corner with Billy. Um, so Ando, we kind of addressed some of these things, and when we talked on the phone earlier this week, we said maybe we should talk about in kind of two phases, like the show itself and then maybe what we learn that connects to our greater world. So
hmm
since we've talked so much about other stuff, you want to do the greater world stuff at the end and kind of connect
It's
it to where we're going at the end.
sure, that's fine.
Okay.
I think whichever way kind of work. We can go either way, and we can bounce around a little too. It might just happen that way, anyways. But we can wait on the greater world stuff.
Yes. Okay, cool. So, first off, I mean, we did talk a little bit about, I think it's really the title alone in space, no one can hear you scream, is what, from the original uh, Alien. and
Yeah,
which
the
is one of
original
the
tagline. I don't think they
the
actually ever
original
said it in the
tagline.
films, but
No, no,
yeah,
no. But
like the trailer and the yeah.
I remember when I mean, I was only like 5 when Alien came out.
Yeah, I was
But
two.
so when I remember when I saw it, I appreciated that. That was like a kind of how I knew I was like a hard sci-fi guy because I was like, yeah, that's right. There's no noises in space in a movie. And so I was like, that's cool, but it refers back to the sound, and we hear right away, we get the opening with the great like vocal
Yeah,
mechanical, and the kind
yeah.
of the flashes, but then seeing the ship, learning about these characters, I was a little like, am I going to really get to know these characters in such a short time? And how did it make you feel, Andy, knowing right away as we settled in that they're all going to die except for Morrow?
I was just going with it because I wanted to. It was, I mean, part of the Alien franchise is characters are killed that you barely know, with the exception of the first film where you pretty much know well, I think there's 7 crewmen. I mean, you know pretty much everyone to some extent on that one, but pretty much every other film since then, there's always been a bunch of warm bodies that go out. So I wasn't too concerned about us not knowing everybody here. I mean, we got to know some of them a little bit, but it didn't really bother me, I guess,
Yeah.
is the way to put it for me. To me, it was just the episode just as a whole. I loved because we still needed some of that outer space sci-fi. It's like Noah Hawley said, it's an alien show. You still have to have some of that there. So
Yeah.
I was fine with not knowing every single thing about every character here.
Me too, but I thought it was really cool the way that they really did a great job through exposition dialogue of explaining like what the hell is going on. It happens so quickly, right? Like we're thrust
Yep.
right into there's an issue,
Hmm.
And obviously we're going to know what that issue is.
Well, and I do kind of like it that like in the original film, the first 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes, there's no chest bursters. There's no nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
you have the face hugger, but you don't really have any besides that little bit. And we already know all those steps, so I'm fine with us throwing it. I mean, when it opens the door and you see the 2 face huggers on the table, and
Yeah,
I'm kind of fine with skipping all that setup because we know that
totally.
already. Why do we don't need to
I loved
experience
it.
that again?
And also, I thought that would be a little clue to people the way that the kid was talking to him going down the hallway like, "Oh yeah, it's not a big deal, the captain's dead and he's got say
Yeah.
like so it just made me initially think, okay, this isn't the first time this has happened in their 65-year journey. They've fucking been through it.
Yeah,
And
that's
this
one of the just because it leads in right to what Bath Time just said. He's like, what he was most confused about was how normal it was for them to have the aliens. It's never really been established what the deal is with the extraterrestrials in the universe, and I think that was. I'm saying exactly what you did. I think it's happened many times to them
yeah,
before, and
yeah.
it's like they've lost people, and I think there's a nod to that when and I think very few people on the ship actually know that because
That thank you.
they
They
ask Morrow, they ask Morrow,
yes.
how big do these things get? So
Yes, yes.
obviously only a few are in the know on this. What's happening? And they talk about I thought this was a geological survey. No, this was a biological whatever. The amount of people that actually know what was happening on this ship, I think, was almost nothing.
That and Andy, there's hundreds of other people on the ship that are still asleep. There's
Yep.
only like 10 people that are awake, 8 or 10
Yeah,
people
because
that are
they wake people
seeing,
up in shifts that they talk about
and they're the work crew.
hmm
They're like the late night shift that has to be
which
woken up when there's a problem with the fucking air
and
conditioning?
that even makes more sense for them to be so-called stupid. Because if they're
Yes.
not the top people in there, what of course they're not going to know what the
Right.
hell they're doing.
So it's basically a security crew that is awoke and
Hmm.
some of the bare bones people that need to be there. And the one person in my mind who is supposed to actually have some sort of know what the fuck is going on is if I'm pronouncing their names, I don't say them too many, but Zaverne who's
Yeah,
played by the woman Richa
yeah,
Morjani,
Zaveri, yes.
Zaver, who's having sex with the other guy,
Yeah.
who gets the face hugger and who's the captain,
She
right?
was she was one of the lead police officers in the last season of Fargo with John Hamm.
Oh, that he took so many people from Fargo. He said that in
Yes.
an interview. But I want to say she is paralyzed by what's happening. She's supposed to be in charge. And I think people are missing that too. She's supposed to somehow take over. She's supposed to be doing stuff. And and you see the way Morrow talks down and like kind of says,
It's
"You're going to do what I say. The security's taking over now."
she's oh sorry,
You
go she's a lot like Lambert in the original Alien, except Lambert didn't have any actual power. She just became petrified and screamed, and I think it's a
Yes.
lot of that same thing. A
Yeah,
lot
that's what
very
I like
similar.
about what's happening on the ship, right? Like
Hmm.
they're taking time to develop these characters very quickly and very successfully. To me, I instantly saw that. She's upset about this guy. She wasn't just fucking him, she was in love with him. The whole thing with the sand and the earth, and that was probably a beach they were going to get back to Earth together and visit this
I
place. There's a
I think it said Utah on the
That's
actual.
what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
There was like a deep story here, and that's another thing here. Her humanity was her weakness, right? And this is
Hmm.
also a big sci-fi concept that us humans are so powerful because we're creative and we have love, but our weakness is that same thing, our emotions, our love. So she's blinded by that, can't help anything. Morrow takes over. He really is the only one who knows what the fuck is going on and what these creatures are, besides for the the lady with the big afro who I'm trying to find her name too. Sorry, people, they were not in that many episodes. It's okay. Do you see what her name was? Been in a bunch of stuff.
Which character?
The scientist, the
Oh
lead
yeah,
scientist.
she was Ragabi from Severance.
Thank you, Ragabi from Separate. But I love her hair is like really go. It kind of goes
Yes.
back too, right? It almost has an alien-like look to it,
Yes.
where it's like makes her head seem longer. I love it. It's just anyway. She knows, but she's really so interested in the creatures, you know, almost like too interested that she's lost in it. So I don't know. I could go on and on. I love the characterization of it. And I agree with you, Andy, that there's very few people awake. And Morrow is really the only one who knows what's going on. And what is the objective here? Why is everyone acting so dumb? Why is Morrow really not give a fuck? Because he, he very quickly figures something out. They have no navigation. They are a bullet flying into Earth. It was done on purpose by someone who is on the ship. There's a saboteur on the ship. His only goal is to make sure that the creatures are contained on the crash so they can be taken by Yutani. That is it. His goal is not to save anyone on the ship. His goal is not to preserve human life and land the ship safely. He knows it's going to crash. There's nothing he can do about it. So from the very beginning, he has only one goal, which is to try to contact Yutani, contain the creatures, and prepare for uh, capturing them when the ship crashes.
Hmm. Yeah, well, and like I said, like I said a few minutes ago, I think part of that is because he came from an area where he had to think on his feet and had to. He's so cool and collected. I think I've mentioned that a few times. It's one of the things I loved about him is he's just so cold-blooded, especially in that first episode. It seemed that way too, and he definitely does know what. Yeah, he's such a great character.
He was chosen for this mission by
Mhm.
the owner of the company.
Yeah,
He's not some peon. He's not getting a share.
yeah,
He gave up the owner of the company, who's dead by now, right? Utani's grandmother
yep,
saved him off this is an it's like Old Boy or something, right? Saved him off the street, except that's a little bit different, but watch it. Saved him off the streets to basically train him to be this thing
yep.
that only wants to serve the company. He gave up his daughter. If we understand it correctly, she was about 10, 9 or 10 when he left. She was fine. She died in a fire when she was 19, and he had already been on the mission for 9 years.
Yeah, there's a good question here about that in the chat. Do you think the fact that he lost his daughter in the mission means his goal might actually not be the stated mission and more about revenge of some kind?
I think that's very possible, but I also think that he knew she was going to be dead when he got back anyway,
Yeah.
or she was going to be 75 years
It's
old. I mean,
I'd like to know more about why I mean, was it purely out of loyalty to Yutani that
that's a great question. I'm glad that's brought up too, because it's making me think. I was saying it. Maybe I should rethink
and
that, because maybe it
and
is revenge.
if it was just a case of him doing it out of loyalty, it almost has to mean that they kind of knew what they were going out there to find. So I mean, it leads me to believe that Prometheus did happen in this universe. I mean, because they've always tried to distance themselves from that, but that Wayland Yutani somehow knows about all this stuff, and it wasn't just some random space voyage to go collect animals. If they're
Right.
sending somebody this important to go out there,
And if also, well, okay, so let's reframe it again. Remember, the ship left in 2055, correct? It was 2055.
yeah, somewhere in there. I can't. Let me look at. I don't remember the exact date. Again, my notes here somewhere.
Well, it's around that time. It
Yeah.
65 years before what's happening now, the ship left. So
Yep.
we're in 2120, right? What's the year again?
We are currently in 2120.
2120. Alien takes place in 2122.
Yep.
65 years before that, this ship left on a 65-year journey, which it is now. So, during that time period, what has happened in the world, right? And how long has, again, when we see those transmissions, I did not check the date stamps
Yeah.
when he finally sees the transmissions between the saboteur and our boy Cavalier, but it wasn't 65 years ago, but
Mm-mm.
boy Cavalier, even in his short life and most of the world, has known that this ship is out there, right? Like
Well,
this.
did he know it was out there? I mean, before he got contacted from
I
Petrovich? That's the
I
thing we don't know.
That's, I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
That's my assumption. You're correct. My assumption would be that these other corporations and other people would have known that the ship is out there and
Yeah.
would be interested in it. Whether or not it points to Prometheus, it could, but it doesn't have to,
Yeah, it
right?
doesn't have to. I mean,
Because
I
yeah,
think there was some. It strikes me strange that like especially when younger Yutani is saying how important he was and how his my grandma thought you were the best ever and all this. If that was the case, then she had to have it wouldn't have just been some random experimental ship mission she was sending this guy on
but
to be
think
gone for
about it,
70
Andy.
years.
65 years ago, that could have been a groundbreaking mission, super
Well,
important mission for the
yeah, that's a
future of
good point.
humanity, right? Like,
That's a good point. I like
there's
that.
so much we don't know. It's so much extrapolation and so
Yeah.
much we have to trust. But that makes it fun. But his character does become, like you say, it gives so much motivation. I like the idea that there is a revenge factor here,
Hmm.
but I just question
Well, and I
what
think for sure there's a revenge mission against
Cavalier.
Boy K. Yeah, I
That
mean,
is without a doubt.
for sure that's happening.
That was stated from episode one, where he said,
Yeah.
"Who is this boy
Yeah,
Cavalier?"
where's Cavalier or where's the boy or
Right?
um
So,
before I get too far, I forgot a couple comments back here that I think it's something we should bring up because I've seen a lot of people complain about this too. Um, when what the heck is her name again? The acting captain that we talked about. He makes a good point. Says she reminds him a lot more of Ripley because even like the affairs she's having and stuff like that. I was like I like that too. It's kind of a combination of Ripley and Lambert, I think, because that the fear thing that Lambert has. But what do you think about the fact that she's able to outrun the Xeno?
I'm fine with any of that kind of stuff. I don't get, but trust me, I thought of it while it was happening.
Well, and I the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, I'm not sure I like that. And then the more I've thought about it throughout the series, not this like the franchise, the aliens have never been the same. They've always been a little different. Because like
Yeah.
this one seems to be a lot more brutal and like it's clawing and scratching at things, where other ones they'll take a
But
bite out of you and
but
chomp.
it did the same thing though too, because it bypassed and grabbed Joe. This is the same one,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So
Same one.
that was on the ship. So it did act. If we go back to episode 1 and 2, we
Hmm.
do see it act kind of interestingly and differently. I also think I've always thought that they're playing with the people a little bit too.
Yeah.
It's a little cat and mousey.
Hmm.
Where's she gonna go?
Yeah.
What is she gonna jump off the ship?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That's exactly
it's
right. It's playing with its food.
yeah, it's in a tin can. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Why kill everything so quickly? Even
Uh-huh.
when he finally gets to kill her, he throws her around a little bit too, right? And ka
Yeah.
ka ka. So that stuff doesn't bother. I
It
don't.
it doesn't really bother, but I've seen a bunch of other people complain about that too. But I
That's
like
okay. I
and
can see that. You know.
I still like the fact too that each alien has kind of been different in every different movie or every
We
different thing
talked
now.
about
So
that. It could
it's
depend how, because it is a constantly evolving being,
hmm
that whatever the parasite comes through to,
yeah.
whatever the host is, it takes up the aspects of the host. And
Hmm.
I think that's interesting, to see. It did come out of we saw it came out of a human, so it may, but we had theorized maybe it was a little more cat-like or something like that too. So maybe before it was something different, and it has a
Yeah.
little bit of that aspect. I don't know. I find that more so. I find that a point for us to discuss on a podcast than it does bother me.
Yeah. It
But
doesn't really bother me either, but
it was a little cliche. Let's be
yeah.
honest. But there was a lot of cliche stuff in this.
And the other thing is that it may have been a little more cautious because he just that alien just got jumped by Oscillus. I mean, and the alien
Ah,
seemed so he may that alien may be a little more cautious and kind of
yes.
reevaluating things because that scene was
Yeah.
freaking amazing. The
Okay.
fight
All right.
between the
Let's
yes.
talk about the humans, and then
Yeah,
let's get
sorry.
on. Okay.
I like
So
to yeah.
right. So
Very excited about this
we
show.
talked about Ripley, our Ripley clone. We talked about her, right? Um, we don't get to find. We don't really know that much more about Mr. Tang. He is super creepy. We never discover if he is a synthetic or he's a human. At one point, our engineer Schmal, or how you pronounce his name, Schmel,
Yeah, I think it's small. I'm not sure.
Schmal, does say something about him being synthetic or android. He says something about it, like under his breath. And but in an interview, Noah Hawley said it is undefined.
Well, and after when Tang gets it, Clem is the other, like the assistant tomorrow there, comes in and all he says is it got Tang. That's all it says. It doesn't say Tang was killed or Tang is whatever.
Did we see? We didn't see any red blood or
No,
anything.
all we saw was the drool hit his face and then you hear
Yeah,
the
yeah.
and that's it.
So
So,
and the aliens have been known to attack and kill synthetics. They may not try
yes.
to implant in them, but they
Yeah, I
do. I
mean,
mean, we've seen that before. Yeah,
Bishop had a tough time with yeah.
yeah, he got split in half. So we've seen that before.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, I thought that the um, the kid was what was his name? I thought that he was very cute.
Oh, the
Malachite,
yeah.
who thought it
Yes.
was a geological expedition. And by the way, his name is Malachite, which I think is a kind of a rock, right?
Oh,
Isn't
I bet it is.
it? I think it is. I thought that again, I just liked it. I just want to appreciate again the interplay between him and Schmel, and like their relationship, and him wanting to protect him, the choices they had to make about, he was upset when he was going to have to die, right? Like there was nothing
Hmm.
they could do. Um, I thought all that kind of stuff. I guess there's some other characters there But is there anything else you wanted to say about these characters and the way they interacted with each other, or the stories they told,
Um,
or the
let's.
sabotage and everything?
I'm trying to think of the actual character. Raheem, the other doctor. There was
Yeah.
kind of something alluded to that he was like he said, I didn't take anything from the pharmacy, so there was some kind of like, is he a drug addict or a drunk or something like that? I
Yeah, that
they
was
kind of
great, Andy. You're right. You're right.
it was just a really subtle thing. I think that I want to say that Morrow was maybe questioning him and something came out about that. So, and was he that way when he decides to operate on the kid? I mean, there's the whole lot of craziness there. So there is a lot of subtle things,
Yeah.
but
And I am now so excited because I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, could we actually be talking about these people in season three? Like, is there more to the, like, this is kind of fun. And if we're not, I'm fine with that.
yeah.
But yeah, there was that little subtlety too, I thought was interesting. And there was something else. There was the character. I liked how they kept on showing all the people who were still in hypersleep and just kind of reminding us there's other people.
You know,
And
I
some of
had
the people, oh, I just want to say real
yeah,
quick,
finish.
some of the people we saw in episode one, we do not see in this episode because they it looks like they woke up when they got it. Like I my this is just my impression, folks, because it's sci-fi shit. When they got to the solar system, they woke up, right? And that was what we saw in episode one, right?
Yeah.
And we saw the French girl or whatever. There was some other people. Then they all go back to sleep. And maybe it's regular sleep. Maybe they're going to sleep until until they land. But they had to kind of get up, check everything. The ship's slowing down. Everything's good. He's woken up. We have a crew that has already been awake, and then he's woken up, and then we get to see what happened with the fire and the sabotage, and those people were alerted to that earlier than him. So I just find that to be really interesting that there's actually other people we met that we didn't see in this episode.
There's something that really struck me this time that I can't believe I've never noticed it. I mean, I've probably watched Alien and Aliens 20 times a piece. And I really noticed it when they put what's the boyfriend, what's his name? Bronsky or Broski or something.
Yes,
And
Bronsky.
they put him in there and he's got the face hugger on and she's dripping the dirt on him and stuff. It never occurred to me that these things look like coffins. Of course they do. They're all going to their death. And I'm like, what a brilliant that had to be intentional. I'm like,
Yeah,
I loved how I just got a coffin imagery. I'm like, of course. Why have I never
that's
thought of that
I
before? But
like that, and
yes, I do
it's
too.
very simple. It's also kind of funny the way they're like, it was frozen. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
right, that was going to work. But
And I
that's
mean,
again an
we've seen that
example,
happen before too in the series. In between Alien 2 and 3, that happened. So
and it is the one thing I can say is that you'd think that they may have not had experience in that realm trying to freeze it once the face hugger was on, because
hmm
Morrow knows, because later on he says it's done once the hugger's on his face, he's done, there's no point, and they obviously they discover that. But so, and he knows the whole cycle. He says it implants and then it'll wait.
Yeah.
And he also, we know he knows the whole cycle. Why? Because he says it to Slightly on the telephone through his little
hmm
device. I was going to say the phone. So obviously he knows more. But why did he think that was going to work too? Then again, he's caught up in trying to figure out the saboteur. And I think in the back of his mind, Morrow is probably saying to himself, who gives a fuck? If the alien pops out of the guy's chest, it's not gonna kill me. It's gonna kill these dumb fucks, and I'm gonna have a good live specimen to deliver to Yutani when we land.
Yeah.
So I
And
just don't think he cares about these people.
like we saw earlier on in the one episode, whatever that was, two or three, where I mean he's confident he knows what to do against these things. He's got the net guns, he's got the metal guns to shock them, and he knows what he's
And he
doing.
said, and the other gun, both of their shockers, we saw him use the one,
Yeah,
right? But then
that's
he
right.
hands the kid another one and he shows him, just shock it. We don't want to hurt the specimen.
Yeah,
So he already has, it's already the specimen. So that almost, now I feel like I'm more right about saying he wanted it to pop out of the guy. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's like he had a plan in it, and the way he was so calculated and just, mother, open up the thing, and then he gets into
Yeah.
it. He knew he could kind of hide there.
There was an interview in the official pod with the actor, and I can't never remember his name, Babu something. He said in order to play this part, because what I know we talked a couple times about how cool and collected he's been. He said two of the roles he studied were Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men and Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood, and that's two of the
Oh my
characters he
God,
kind of based this. And he actually said a little bit of Heath Ledger's Joker in his physicality, were the three names he listed as what he studied before he played this part. So it
nice.
was interesting listening to him talk about it. But yeah, he was everything he did was so great in this, and like, his calm, cool collectedness was just. Like I said, it was such a change from what's normally happening. I mean, normally it's people panicking and screaming and running away, and he's just like, nope, I'm just gonna do my job. He's a professional.
His name is Babu Sise,
There we go.
and yeah, what a great performance on his part. I totally agree. And those are, oh gosh, Daniel Plainview.
Yes.
That those are some great people to take your performance from.
Yeah,
And
two of the
that's
greatest
what
acting performance three ever. Yeah.
that's the thing in this episode, right? Like everything's going crazy and he just keeps on doing his job. He's
Hmm.
like, "Motherfucker, I'm trying to find a saboteur on the ship. I don't care what you're talking about. Oh, wait, someone got something, someone's going to die. Okay, what does this have to do with the fact that we're going to crash into Earth in the 17 days, like, or however many days it was? That's I need to keep on doing it." I loved the way we got this detective show
Yeah.
inside of the horror show, inside of the sci-fi show,
It's
which also has a romance, a story about a young boy and a surrogate father,
coming of age
um,
story.
a coming of
Yes.
age story, a scientist who, like Boy Cavalier, is so cavalier with her specimens that, oh, she doesn't even notice that she doesn't fucking secure the eyeball of death.
Secure the lid.
And
Yes.
there's all, and the lid too. Oh, how did it get out? I never
Or yeah,
figured out that you could open this thing. I figured it out the first time they showed me that box. I was like, this thing's getting out.
the just because you mentioned it there, Bath Time gives up a nice little Easter egg. The 17 days. That's also the he says that's also the same amount of time that in Aliens that they say it'll take 17 days for an extract to get there.
Oh,
And he's like,
nice.
17 days? We can't survive
I
17
love
minutes
it.
against
I
this thing
love
or
it.
whatever.
Yeah,
It's a fun little Easter
that's like
egg.
an AE-35 unit. I like that.
That's yeah,
That's
that's
good
fun.
stuff. The numerology, baby. Not that I believe in that crap. Anyway, let's move on. I just love all the stories that are intertwined, and Morrow is still on the case. First of all, I want his chair. I want it for podcasting so I can just move side to side looking at old video
It
screens. If I could have done that while I was a video editor and had the way they keep on showing him touching. I love the little plastic over the buttons. And for you young kids who have never touched something like that before, for us old folks who have, I can feel that on my
yes.
fingertips when he touches it.
The thing that I kept thinking of on that it reminded me of in a great way was another sci-fi series that I love. It reminded me a lot of Rick Deckard in Blade Runner. Just
Oh,
looking
totally,
at the
dude.
videos, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And it's a detective story.
Thank
It's
you,
very
Andy.
Rick Deckard. Yes.
Andy and Ryan Gosling.
Oh
Andy,
yeah, and Gosling too.
you are the best, brother. That is so spot on, so spot on. I love that. When it was like recalibrating data,
I
damaged
wish he
data
would have
was
just
like,
said enhance or something
yeah,
to
no, 90%. And I was like, how long is it
yes.
going to take? 10%. Oh my God,
Yes.
AOL, are you there? You got mail. It was great, man. The screens, the way it looked, watching what happened with the fire and everything through the screen instead of them like cutting to it.
Hmm.
Every decision I thought was so filmic and just amazing and thought through. And I just loved it. I thought it was
Yeah.
awesome. Now let's talk
I
about how the aliens fuck everything up. And we start with the ticks. Now, once again, we have five species. We got the ticks, which play a big part in this one, in which we saw an episode. We didn't see them suck a lot of blood in this one and become big like we saw in episode 1 or 2. That was cool. We got
I'm
obviously.
pretty sure that one that climbed in through Clem's eyeball or whatever that was, I'm pretty sure that one's going to get real big real fast.
Oh, by the way, my wife made a very astute observation, which is that that's still in him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's still on the ship. Did
Mm-hmm.
they know that? You know what I'm saying? Like there, and also, by the way, we'll talk about at the end, but those ticks are everywhere. They did
Yeah.
not capture or contain those.
No.
So even when we saw our friends arrive in episode 2, those ticks are still
It's
all over the ship and getting
it
out
re-
into the city and whatever.
it reminds me of in Aliens and they first land on LV-426 and Ripley's still back in the call center thing and the Marines are going forward and they look around two doors. This area is contained. And she's like, "What? This area is not contained. What are you talking about?" It's very much on that same thought process I had
Oh
there.
shit, that's why James Cameron is the man, dude, because
Yes.
he loves all that military shit and the guns. He's like obsessed with it, which is not my thing. But he calls in his movies, he often calls out when people are not like that there are dumbasses out there in the world
Yes.
who do
Yes.
shit like that. And
Like
that's
I said, there's
very
people
normal.
doing stupid shit in the Alien series
That's
all the
why I
time.
always, dude, that's why I always get upset when people watch TV and they're like, no one would do that. And I'm like, your dumb ass just sat on a fucking Tic Tac. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got chocolate all over your shirt, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I make mistakes every day. I do the dumbest shit that I'm like, why did I do that? I just wasn't thinking. You,
Hmm.
you get distracted with your own life.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't, you know me, Andy. I like when people make mistakes in film and TV. I like when things go wrong. I don't like when the plan always works. People say, "Oh, that's great writing." And to me, I say, "Yeah, that's great formulaic writing. That's very cliche." Because
Yep.
in life, I like better things like Old Country for Old Men, where it's just like haphazard craziness ensues, which is what ends up happening. Um, we got the okay, so we got the ticks, we got the eyeballs, we got the xenomorph, we've got the plant that hangs down with
Yep.
with
We
the
saw a little bit
guys,
of, yep.
and we've got the
We
flies.
did see the fly again this time. They walk by it and you can actually see it a little bit. It looks like a big fly.
It's just a big fly. But spoiler alert, the next episode is
Yeah.
called Flies. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to learn about the flies, but we
Yep.
didn't see them. But these are still the same ticks. So the whole thing that goes on with the ticks figuring out that if one of them goes down and eats the meat, because that's what the lady wants them to do, and the other one sneaks up to the top, then not only does that happen, but Eyeball sees what's going on and distracts the doctor to help the thing get away.
Okay, so there's some theories about this that I have seen
Okay, I want to hear it. I love it.
that the eyeball is actually trying to help the humans. The eyeball was warning
Oh,
her that the ticks were
oh,
getting ready to escape. The eyeball later on tries to take on the xenomorph. Actually knocks the girl out of the way and knocks her out. Doesn't kill her, just knocks her over, and then tries to take on the Xeno. I don't know if I buy this theory yet, but I think it's amazing to think about.
well, remember when I was saying that humans are dumb and I was pointing out that I too can have times when I'm like, how can I did not consider that. I
I
have
hadn't either until
considered this
I ran
thing.
across it online. Yeah.
Now I am rethinking the goat. I am rethinking what is going on here. I think that's fascinating. I was under the impression that it was trying to take over the alien because if it could get into the alien,
Yeah.
it has the ultimate host. And then you and I had a text exchange, and I want to give credit to my wife, Perry, who said, "Honey, do you think that the alien evolved with no eyes so this eye creature couldn't take it over?"
That's I was just gonna say bath time a minute or two ago actually brought up the same thing. Is the
Okay.
alien evolved to not have eyes because this is like its mortal enemy.
Yeah. And that's what this is, the story of this creature trying to save humanity from the alien. This is our
It's
friend.
it's wild to think about. I because I didn't catch it at all, and then I read that theory. I'm like, God damn,
Oh,
that's I don't know if I buy it yet, but it's
I
a cool
love it.
theory.
I absolutely. Now, I will say this. I would buy more so that the creature has its own interest at heart overall,
Yeah,
but knows the danger of the alien and is willing to work with the humans insofar as it means defeating the alien, but then it will take over a human head. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that is it, because okay, I'm trying to think now. Help me, Andy. How did the engineer die? That it got into the engineer's head.
I I don't think he actually died. I think that he died by the alien. I think he was still alive because I don't think the eyeball can take over dead hosts.
Okay, so the eyeball did that to him, the
Yeah.
engineer.
But
Okay,
I think he did that. I mean, I shouldn't say I think that. If you're going with this theory that he's here to help us, you could say that the engineer was already dead meat anyways, because the Xeno was coming.
then so was the girl that he just threw aside
But
instead of killing her.
the thing with that is
It had to take him.
he was already in there so that he could save that body for the next one if he needed to too. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's a gray area for
That's
sure.
why I'm saying I believe I am amending this theory. Okay, this is my we're going from the special to the general theory of relativity here, which is that I like that. Oh, I like to think that the alien eyeball is sufficiently intelligent to have more than one motivation and
Yeah,
more and having cross motivations, meaning it wants to protect the human in one aspect, but if it has to kill it, it will.
I think it's a friend of my or enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation here with the humans. And
I love it.
um
I love that idea. That's very cool.
Bath Time also brings up something that I had mentioned a few episodes that I think was a possibility, and he says something along these same lines, and I think this is what's going to happen. That is going to meld with a synthetic at some point, and my guess that the Ocellus is going to get to that's going to be the way it can take down an alien, being a synthetic body. That's
Why do you think then? Okay, so I'm going to keep going. When it took over the engineer, why it emitted a sound, right?
yeah, that predator type sound,
And
yes.
then soon after, the alien came around the corner.
Hmm.
Okay, so was it trying to get the alien to kill?
Well, in the first time I watched it, immediately I thought, oh shit, they're teaming up. I thought he was calling him there to team up
That's what I'm asking.
initially, but I think as soon as it happened, I think the eyeball thinks, "Oh, I've got this body now. I might maybe I can take this alien down with the body I have now."
See, that's why I have to think about it more. Because who was in that room? It was Morrow, right? It was
Wait, yeah, when Morrow, oh yeah, that was because uh
okay. So
the the other
Morrow
captain had
comes.
already been knocked to the ground, and Morrow was in
Yes,
there,
yes.
and
So
that's when he
Morrow
calls the
comes
alien back.
around. Morrow is in front of the door. I can think of the shot behind the eyeball engineer makes looks up almost like and
Yep.
goes "Arr!" makes some weird
Yeah.
noise. We cut back over the shoulder and we see the alien come back into the room. Okay, now is that because in the eyeball's eyes Morrow is a threat?
Or because he knows Morrow will also help him try to take out the Xeno. He knows he has help right now.
That's an interesting idea. That's okay. It could be many different
Because I
factors.
mean, the way the Xeno comes in there, and that instantly he is literally taking a bite out of the alien. Like to me, that just screams these two are mortal enemies. They
Uh,
are.
It, and it knew like a weak spot too,
He,
right? Like
yeah,
behind, like maybe it could enter into that
man,
spot of
that
its
was so
body.
awesome. That whole thing just blew me away. That something
Does
attacked
an
an alien
alien
like
have?
that.
Does the al people? You know, there's people who like study Geiger's like anatomy. I mean, he was fucking
Yeah,
nuts. But like,
yeah,
does the alien have any type of gills or anything in the back of its head? We should look
yeah.
this up,
Like a
Andy.
weak spot in the armor kind of a thing.
Yeah, or something that is an organ of some type that
Yeah.
could in some way work as the eye does for an entry to this parasite. You know, that's interesting.
Oh, and
Okay,
yes.
I have one more question. Okay, go ahead.
Well, that's on the same thing from the comments. The Xeno observed Morrow killing Petrovich, so it probably has been watching the crew. So it probably
Yeah,
knows that Morrow is tough enough to
he's the
help.
danger. I
Yep.
see. I buy all of that. I just assume that I knows every about everyone who's having sex
Yeah.
with them. You
I
know.
think it might be the smartest creature on the ship, honestly.
Yeah, but the question is, okay, riddle me this, Batman. Why does the engineer not just speak? It is in the head of the human, okay? Why does the engineer, instead of speaking to the alien, why does not the eye say, I've taken over this human host. There is an alien behind you. We've got to kill it together. I've seen this fucker before. You know what I mean? Like some kind of weird voice, or it can it
Maybe it
maybe
can't. Maybe it can't.
that's what I'm saying is maybe that noise we heard was not it communicating with an alien. It was trying to talk to Morrow. It was trying to get control the voice and the body enough to speak to him in.
And there was a thing a few episodes ago, like when Wendy was talking to them, and Boy K is like, "You have the equipment to do this. You make it in a sound we can hear. Make it in a." It's kind of follows along that whole theme of communication and
Yeah, that's
difficulty in
what I'm saying,
communication.
Andy. I think that maybe the eyeball was trying to talk to him. Or maybe the eyeball was trying to say, "There's an alien behind you. It's coming," or
Yeah,
something, or "Let's work together," or I don't know. I have to watch it again. I'm okay. When I do another rewatch, I'm gonna watch it with the idea that the eyeball is trying to help everybody and see
I
if,
just
or at
wanna.
least has a plan for the situation.
I'd be
Like,
fine with like two more episodes of the last three just about the eyeball. This thing is so freaking awesome. I love
well,
this
you know
thing.
what? I feel dumb now because having had a whole episode beforehand that establishes the intelligence and everything, we talked about it staring at Kirsch and staring at Cavalier, and then for me to just continue to assume it's evil shows my own human emo. I got caught up in it and I did not consider the other. Now that I'm considering the other side, I find it vastly more interesting that
For
it
sure.
has motivations that I don't understand yet that are complicated.
And
That's really cool.
it's just, and just the whole when it's swinging around the room like across of Peter Parker and Mr. Fantastic and the
That was super cool.
and the that hitting itself against the glass case. And I did think it was hilarious that when that case hits the floor, they don't have some type of new age poly plexiglass or something that's indestructible.
I
That
know.
thing was weaker than, I mean, my
That's
iPhone is stronger
that's
than
how I
that
know.
glass case, but
That's why this is. But
yes.
you know what? A corporation would do that. We have to
Oh,
cut
yeah,
cost.
be the cheapest thing in the
You know
world.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
of
Because
course.
also we also have to remember, like they don't care about the humans on the ship.
Hmm.
Literally, if everyone on the ship was killed by all these creatures and Mother had to bring the ship home, they'd be fine. They wouldn't
Yep.
care.
Yep.
No one at Weyland Yutani is going to be upset that they didn't have to pay shares out to the engineer and the nurse and the whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is part of the story here that we're supposed to understand. Again, I like the way Noah Hawley said in that interview where he said, he's cavalier. That's why we call him Boy Cavalier, because he's
Yeah.
cavalier with human life and everyone around him. Now let's talk more about the ticks. The whole thing in the water bottle, as you just drank out of your water bottle,
Yes.
was so fun. The whole thing of it squirting itself into the water bottle, her carrying it from one room into the other, it's sitting there on the table. You could see the thing swimming around, And I don't know if I'm the only one who saw this, but I I and I did not, I still couldn't exactly say it. But as an editor, in the same way that I was trying to think about when the episode ended, when it kind of messed with time, where Wendy was laying on the floor, and
Yeah.
then after, and I appreciated that. So I try to think of that way again and get into that's the kind of thing we're doing. I think they were trying to communicate to us that Morrow knew that that the bugs were in the water because he like looks and then you see the things swimming around and then he starts talking. And I think there's even a second glance over, and because that part is what's facing him.
You know what? I'll have to look at that. See, I just assumed it was because the kid wouldn't shut up and was acting like an asshole during that part of it that I assumed that
Maybe.
he was looking over there. But I'll look at that
Maybe.
again. I didn't catch that though,
I
but you could
thought
be
I
right.
saw an eye dart down to there, but again, I could just be making shit up and it doesn't matter. But it
I
goes along with my thought that he kind of wanted everyone to get infected on this ship.
that's I thought there was a few other things, just like world building things in this one too. Like there's a couple times where it's mentioned only eat food in the mess hall, and somebody says offhandedly, "Nobody, you're not supposed to leave leftovers. Don't ever waste food." Because at first I'm like, why are they sharing water bottles? Because it's her water bottle. But if they're all living there together and there's limited food, they're not wasting anything. I thought that was
Yeah.
interesting. It was also
Ah,
interesting when he
nice.
took a drink and he's like, "Oh, it's hot." Like the water was hot. So whatever those ticks evidently must be
Oh,
extremely warm-blooded or something. Just some very cool things. I didn't catch that till I
yeah.
saw it with the captions on, but
You're
just
right.
some
He did
cool
say
little world
that.
building stuff. Yeah.
That's very cool. I thought that whole thing was cool. They get inside him, he throws up the blood, we see them inside him. And then that it was just so futile where the doctor, who I do
Oh,
think was fucked up,
yeah.
was like, I'm gonna try to do it. It's like, why? You see them crawling all inside him. You're dealing with an alien creature. Like, get the fuck out of there.
Yep.
Like it didn't make any, and then they were, and then that's an interesting thing too with the ticks, which a new, I guess you call it what is it, epidemiology or morphology? I don't know, the way it
Yeah, I think you're
behaves,
right.
where when he pulls it off, the noxious gas comes up, and that's what kills them.
Yeah.
So that's another interesting part about those ticks that they release that noxious gas.
And we did see something like that in the second Prometheus, in Alien Covenant. There was some spore type things too that got released. It's been a while since
Oh,
I've
there
watched that
were,
one, but
yeah.
we have seen spores before in this universe too that are not good. So,
Well, that's a thing that I questioned because when we talked about whether or not the alien, the xenomorph, could have evolved with no eyes to combat the Oculus, it makes you think, were all of these creatures found on the same planet?
mhm.
Now, according to Google, no. When I remember and I look back in my notes, I do have written down from different planets, but I don't remember where I got that idea from, whether that was said in the original. They did say there was something that was said as like we didn't go to all these different planets to pick up these there was something that was said to that. So I am under the impression that these creatures come from different not only different planets but different solar systems. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like they're
I don't
far
remember where,
apart.
but I also have that same impression that it
Okay.
was
Okay.
from not all from the same place. I mean, doesn't mean multiple ones wouldn't be from the same place, but I don't think they were all from the same place.
No, Planet Australia, Bath Time says. By the way, Bath Time said something about UK. Is Bath Time from Bath? That's what I'm wondering here. Because there was a UK mentioned in one of the comments here, and then I think when I
Yes.
saw that, oh, right, like Bath.
Well, he also says he thought it was the chili sauce he was referring to being hot. That would make
Oh.
more sense. I didn't catch this. I was staring at the water bottle. I didn't even realize he was eating chili
I think
or
that's
some
why I
chili
wanted the
sauce, but
water.
that makes way more sense. I was just staring at the little tadpoles swimming around in
I
the
was
thing.
just going with it, and
Yep, I was
but
too.
I like that too. That they made the water hot.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, Uh, what were we talking about?
Um, what were we talking about? Oh, just the different planets. If they're from different
Oh yeah.
planets.
So I think they're from different planets.
I
I
do
don't
too.
think it's all from one planet, but that doesn't mean they couldn't interact with each other over millions of years,
Yeah.
or billions. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know because we're just this little speck, right? So we don't know the story that we've stumbled into that is uh, so old it predates even the idea of the dust that made the first human beings,
And
which I think is also fascinating.
with as intelligent as the Ocellus is, there's no it's feasible that that's capable of interstellar travel. I mean, we don't know. We don't know how smart it is or what else can it take over. I mean, did it take over a predator body? And is I mean, and it could be anything. I mean, that doesn't mean that's only been on one planet too. But as
Let me
smart as
tell you
that thing
something,
is.
man. Oh, not from Bath. Sorry. Um, that would have been fun. But hey, bath time is always fun. Bath time is lots of fun. Yeah, we are going to see this creature, Andy. If FX like somehow went out of business, Hulu like today, people will be making like fanfic of this fucking
Oh.
eyeball. This is so interesting and cool. We're gonna get like I want one as a stuffed animal. I
Hmm.
need to, you know what I'm saying? Like this has got to talk about Grogu. I want Ibu. I want that eyeball.
Yes.
That's my
Yes.
friend. I like that Ibu. I came up with that spontaneously too. Um, that is so cool that like we talked about, maybe it's helping. I don't feel the same about the ticks. I do not feel that the ticks are intelligent creatures. I feel they want to reproduce. They are bugs.
Yeah, I that's what I think too. I don't think they're not on the same intelligence level as
Yeah, they have
Oculus. There's no
limit.
question
Okay,
about it.
maybe they're more than bugs because they figured out how to get out of the fucking thing.
Yeah.
But I don't. It doesn't seem to me now that we've been given evidence that they have a higher intelligence like the eyeball does. But I'm willing to be open to that as well.
Hmm.
If they somehow exhibit some type of intelligence, or as we've shown with the xenomorphs, it could be that they become a different creature. They change after sucking the blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we don't know what
Yeah,
happens to that. We saw them
exactly.
swell up like a balloon, but we don't know what happens after that.
Yeah, so it could be something different. They could come
The
together and create a big creature. They
the
could.
one thing
It's
about just because we're still talking about the ticks a little bit, and I've seen a few complaints about how they are smart enough to get out of there. Now, I didn't catch us till the second time, but that case that they're in, besides the little slide thing that they opened, there's also supposed to be another thing that goes over the top, and that's what the doctor didn't put over the top, right?
yes.
Like there's a little locking mechanism that like a
She was
cover that's
being
supposed to lock
lazy.
on.
She was
And
just
she
hanging
okay.
out being lazy. She was
Because
not putting the top on.
I didn't catch the first time that she didn't put the lock on because the first time I watched, it, I'm like, well, why? How could they slide that open? But if the main thing is the lock and the slide is just like the secondary thing, I could see how
Yeah.
they maybe could. I was a lot less critical of it the second time I
Oh,
watched that. So,
oh, really? I wasn't well,
well,
because
I
I
don't.
assumed they just
I
had
shouldn't
kind of
say,
like
yeah,
bird-like intelligence or
I
something,
shouldn't have said critical, but and like I say, I've had enough animals. I've seen the crazy shit they can do that you wouldn't
Yeah.
think they'd be able to. So I wasn't really, but it makes a little more sense, I think, with that locking mechanism not on the top too. So
Isn't
I was
that
good.
fascinating? And um, sorry, oh my God, I'm dying here. I might have a tick in my throat. Let me take a sip of water. Oh my God, what's in my water?
Oh shit,
Yes, Kitty.
this is a
Um,
great point here too.
yeah.
Bath Time says he thinks the fly is going to be about the ticks, like that might be their next stage in the cycle.
Oh, I like that. That's
I like
very
that idea
interesting.
too. That's awesome.
That's interesting. And you know what? Again, that is the thing that's not contained,
Yeah.
right? Like they get it looks like they only have one eyeball. There's only one.
Yep.
But I think that there's multiple ticks. I think there might be multiple flies.
Well, and if the
And I
ticks are
think
a
there
fly,
might
that
be
would kind of be like a maggot turning into a fly, that same kind of thing. Very much. I
interesting.
like that idea. The more I'm thinking about that, I
Yeah.
really like that idea.
But they're loose, man. We see them
Yeah.
crawl out and go, and they're
Well, and
also in the body. So,
that mom shot in like 100 little ticks into that water. I mean, ugh.
and each one of those can do that too,
Yeah.
man. Like it could be that the entire city of New Siam is going to be just dead from the ticks by the
I
end of
still
this
think I still think
series.
at the beginning of the one of these first episodes, I said they're gonna do what Hudson said and aliens take off from them and nuke this site from orbit. I mean, I think it's gonna happen. This city's gonna be nuked, I think, at some point. Maybe not this season, but I think it's gonna happen. It's gonna be overrun with everything.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Or we don't see it until next season. I'm cool either way, but I think it's very, very fun. Um, we don't know a lot about the plant either.
Yeah.
We just briefly see its tentacle up there, you know?
Hmm.
So okay, so we talked about the creatures, we talked about the uh, one thing I do want to say as we head in to talk about like things we can take into next episode. I did love the way they did the ending that we already knew, the shots they selected. Um, I thought, and showing us parts we had already seen, it made it feel new to me. And I just want to compliment them on the editing and the selection and everything. It was great.
It,
I didn't feel bored at all, even though I knew what was going to happen. I was like, whoa, what?
it also, I know we had mentioned it last week, the opening credits. If you go back to the opening credits in episode one, it's a previously on for this episode. They show little clips of what happens in this
Yeah,
episode in that episode one credits, which I thought was a very cool touch too.
that
Because at
is
the time we
cool.
are like, well, maybe that's all the flashback we're gonna get, but it
Yeah.
was a flashback to this episode, which I love. And yeah, I love the whole way they did it, even though you know what's gonna happen. I didn't. I think the reason why the number one thing I thought of that why I really love this episode is I didn't go this entire episode with thinking I want to see Timothy Oliphant or I want to see Wendy or and I mean I do
No.
want to see all of them. I mean, hell, the last thing we saw was Wendy snake charming the alien. And
Yeah.
I was fun, I was not any once there's an episode be like, God, I wish we were seeing this. I'd still want to see that very much so.
Great, great
But
point, Andy.
I was never once thinking about it ever. I'm like, oh, by then I'm like, I was watching the credits roll and I was like, oh yeah, Timothy Oliphant. I didn't even think about Kirsch once while watching this. So
It's funny because I'm so used to, say, all the fucking 50 million hours we spent talking about Game of Thrones. Every episode, we'd say something like, well, we see Jamie and Cersei this episode, but Tyrion's not in it. Or we'd say, no, oh, John's only in one scene this episode because you're kind of keeping track of the cast. And we just kind of scooted right into this episode without saying, oh, by the way, Cavalier is the and Morrow are the only people from the cast that we see, and I guess Utani during this entire episode. Which is you're
yeah.
right. I didn't miss him at all. I didn't, but I'm excited to see
Oh, I still
how the
can't wait to see.
aspects.
Yeah.
So we've learned we were correct. We had theorized and talked about what a coincidence is that this very valuable ship crashes right into Siam. That's New Siam, it's called, right?
Yep.
Because
Yeah. I
none,
know
none
I
of
had
the
brought up
Hanks
at one
name it
point maybe
is.
it was crashed there on purpose. I didn't actually think that
Yeah,
one was
we
going to come
both
true,
did.
but yeah,
Yeah, we both said it. That it
and
was
we had
like,
said
yeah.
numerous times one of the other hallmarks of this series is somebody is a betrayer or an inside man. I mean, we knew it was all coming. It had to be.
Yep. Corporate sabotage, corporate espionage. I think many people watching it, but I think the way they did it was really cool
Hmm.
because we didn't get to the end of the detective story and then we figure it out. And then
Yep.
we can go back and we know why Morrow says, show me who's the cavalier. Like he knows what's and why he is such on a mission
Yeah.
when he gets there because he knows where he is. He knows what's happening. He knows who's coming for the ship and trying to remember he was trying to secure the ship and all that. So I thought that was awesome. It's totally in line with um, the way Boy Cavalier has acted this entire episode is I mean this entire season is right in line
Yeah.
with this episode too. I'm stumbling a little because there was a quote that I wanted to say. It was from a Hollywood Reporter interview that he did, and he talks about okay, look, this is what he says. I don't look at our tech billionaires and think these guys are orchestrating some master plan. I think you have a lot of ADHD billionaires with impulse control issues, and we always look to impose a certain logic on our fiction that doesn't apply to real life. For me, it's a way to tie everything together, and as the show plays out in the rest of the season, we find out that the boy genius is not a terribly thoughtful and calculating guy. He has all these ideas, he chases all of them at the same time. He's never failed, so he thinks failure is impossible. He's
Hmm.
trying to launch this immortality product, so why wouldn't he do all this other stuff? He thinks, "Oh, I could do everything." He says it's a statement on some level about the hubris we're seeing around us by people who think they can go to space, reinvent travel, drill in the earth, and enter politics. They're doing all of these things at the same time when none of them are necessarily being done well. They're just all being done a lot.
Yep.
So
That's
I don't need to say anything more about it. That purpose that we have been watching this with the correct eyes, and that is why a lot of these things have occurred in this show. And I enjoy that. It does take a recalibration in some way, maybe as a viewer, or maybe some would think that it's making the subtext a little too obvious. But that's Alien. I mean,
yeah.
all we need is Paul Reiser coming around a corner, folks. Like
Yeah,
we're
this
done.
isn't any. This is nothing new for the Alien franchise at all. It's not. It's been there all along. So, yeah,
Yeah, great stuff.
I wasn't really surprised by that scene at all. I mean, it needed to happen. I thought it fit perfectly. Even though personally, like I said, I wasn't surprised. I didn't think I thought it was still good. I thought it was needed for the story to continue as it
But
should. So,
it helps put the nail in the coffin on any thought that this motherfucker is some super great, awesome genius guy who does everything right. He just
yeah,
keeps on going. And I think if you got further into that, you'd say one of the reasons he doesn't fail is because people keep on letting him do whatever the fuck he wants with little or no expense at his part
hmm,
because he's earning money.
yeah. Well, and he's paying people. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just we
And they're, yeah,
saw him
yeah.
do that with Joe last episode. He's like, well, if you're not working for me, you got to pay for that lung. I'm going to charge you for it, or you're all these other things. Or if you leave here,
Yeah.
you're never seeing your sister again, and all.
But
He's
we also have the Sylvias who are unhappy with him, right?
hmm.
We have
Kirsch is not happy
Hirsch
with
is
him. Yeah,
unhappy with him. I think that this is interesting, and now that we have this knowledge that we know he did this all on purpose, and he just wants. Now these creatures have then become more important than the project he's working on with Wendy. He's
yep,
just going to keep on going. I think that's interesting thought as we move into the next episodes and we see that Wendy now has formed a relationship with a xenomorph, a
yeah.
baby, right?
That's yeah. Her Xenopet.
What's the
Yes.
next steps that's going to happen? What we see how intelligent
Well, and
Oculus is.
Morrow is becoming friends with Slightly, so we know Morrow's going to find a way onto that island, and we
Yep.
know now Morrow wants to kill Boy K.
And we have more. And the end of the episode is the most forward we've been yet in our story.
Hmm.
That didn't happen before. Remember, Mora
Yeah,
was on his way to go
yeah,
meet.
because she says,
Yes,
come in. You're too
exactly.
valuable to talk to."
So now
And
he's finally come in. Go
we
ahead.
also know that he knows how to manipulate and handle all these aliens, and he
Yep.
wants to take out Boy K. What better way to take out Boy K than to put one of your little
And
Xenos
he
against him or
and
something?
he might also know that the ticks are out there. He knows how smart the Oculus is. He know like
Yeah,
he's experienced these things that they're and he can use that to manipulate it. But importantly, what I'm saying about being the most forward part of the story is because that was integral at the end. She is now giving him an army, give him anything he
an
wants.
army of red ninjas that look like they're out
Yeah,
of Return of the Jedi or something,
that
which I
was
did think was pretty
awesome,
cool. Yeah,
dude.
I loved it.
Thank you
It
for
was a
bringing
little over
that
the
up.
top, but I loved it. I loved it.
I thought that that was super cool, and that's such a just a nod to geeky sci-fi people who love to see like traditional garb made into, this like I
You know
guess
what?
what is that?
Another
Neo-futurism.
Yeah, the one thing I was thinking about too about just that conversation that Boy K has with the engineer. him knowing ahead of time. Also, I like the fact now that he actually would have been preparing to take all these things when they got here, because he even says if the specs you sent are accurate, well, whatever. So Boy K would have started creating, making sure that he had the right
Oh, good
scientific
point.
things to come.
Great point.
Because I had seen complaints way back there, like
Oh,
how
that's
would he have
good.
facilities to handle this stuff? That some of that makes a little more
Andy,
sense
that's
now,
a
I think
wonderful
too.
point. And that goes against what I said earlier is Morrow knows all this other stuff, but so
Because yeah,
does the
they said
boy,
he says if your
right?
specs are correct, you're never
Yeah.
gonna have to live in your cow loving whatever
Well, let's
town.
let's go back to when Morrow took all the data and stuck it in his head, remember? But we
Hmm.
were debating whether how much Kirsch had downloaded before
Yeah.
he had the ability to suck it in his head and delete it.
Hmm.
Well, we can assume maybe that those specs are that data.
Yeah. He maybe has it already.
So you're right. So Boy Cavalier is ahead of the game. He kind of knows what's going to go
Well, he
on.
said earlier, "Assume I know everything" to Kirsch in one of those early episodes,
Yeah,
and
good point. Good point. That's very interesting because you're right. He could have further plans, but it also shows the way in which now Wendy and the Lost Boy girls just literally become a tool to decipher these new aliens instead of being a tremendously amazing step in human evolution.
hmm, yeah,
Like he's ignoring the fact that he took the mind of a child and implanted it in a synthetic being. He achieved immortality for now. But he doesn't care. He wants to go on to the alien because he can make a lot of money and rip shit up and get those other corporations on their knees.
yeah, yeah. Just keep going, keep going,
It's
never
very
stop.
interesting. I love it. I love it all. All right. Wow. And here I think I was like, hey, maybe we'll do a quick pod because this is a one-off episode.
There's still a lot of cool stuff here, and um, one more thing from the chat. And Bath Time had said something about this earlier when we were talking about the call that the engineer makes. And he had said that he thinks that Ocellus is calling a mate or another one, that there might be more than one on the ship. And
Oh,
it
okay.
ties into something else he says later. He thinks that the reason he was doing that was because the main goal is to have two Ocellus in one human, which would enhance the smartness, enhance everything that could. I'm like, that's an amazing idea.
Can someone, Bath Time, do me a favor, Bath Time? Email me at dvrpodcast@gmail.com because you might be on the next episode of Pod Huggers because I love all these ideas. Get a mic ready. You might be on this show, and I'm not fucking kidding with you because that's how Andy got to be a podcaster too. So I'm serious. dvrpodcast@gmail.com. Let's talk about it, Bath Time, because that is an amazing idea. And by the way, the doctor said she got out when she was talking about the eye.
Yeah.
And if there's a she, maybe there's a he.
Yep. You're right. She did say she got out.
He said she got out,
Yep.
and it was strange the way that stuck with me. And I thought, okay, maybe that she's just too close to her subjects.
Hmm.
But then it made me think. And again, there are so many that here again, I made an assumption. They have one of those, but we see all these other containers. They got that one because I kept on saying to my wife, is that the same one? And she's like, yeah, because it was in the cat when they got to the ship,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So that's it. So what happened in between? I got to go back and watch. The last we see is that the eye is acting as the engineer trying to get into the alien. The alien kills the engineer. The eyeball is still in him, drops to the ground, and then the chase between Morrow and the girl and
Yeah. We don't. I
ensues.
don't think we see the eye again after that, do
That's
we?
the last we see of the eye. So whenever the ship it has to move to a live host, right? So it jumped out
Well, it
of the
doesn't have to, but it does. It can.
it
I don't think
wants
it
to.
has to. Yeah, it wants to.
Okay. See, but it seems to want to be in a live host.
Yeah.
So maybe that's only has to do with being able to have motion, being able to move. So it's in the cat by the time they
Yeah,
get there.
it wants its biological mech suit, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so I like that idea that you have two eyes. That's
And then it would
really,
have
really
even more enhanced intelligence and more enhanced strength and everything. I mean, it's a
and
cool
then
idea.
and it was calling out because then as soon as the other eye gets in, it's like, oh, hi, I have now taken over this body. My
Hmm.
name is Galaba, the eye creature.
Yeah,
We work as one.
yeah.
That's interesting. I love it. All right, do we got to have anything at bath time? Do you want to extend this podcast for another hour and a half? What else do you got? Ando, you got anything else?
Oh, he has one other thing here. When it gets into a hybrid, they're going to face off Wendy and her brother, her alien brother.
Ooh, interesting. Wendy
There's
and her
some
alien.
No, the alien that came out of her brother's lung. I think the Xeno that came out of her.
Oh, that's right. I like that. Yeah, you're right.
I
Yeah,
think
you're
that's what
right.
he's
Okay.
implying
I
here.
get it. I get it. I get it. Oh,
Oh,
that's really interesting because I
that's
do
exciting
think,
about what she's going to react. Does she think of that as her brother? Because it's shared some of the same. Like we mentioned that
well,
last week.
we talked
Yeah,
about that last
shares
week
some of the
on it.
same building blocks, and neither one of
Right.
them is human.
Yeah. And the special thing too, right? Like
Hmm.
just open to this. And maybe we'll never discover what that thing is. It could just be that is what they are, right? It's
Yeah.
just like some people have a different, like I have red hair or whatever, you know? Um, I find it fascinating. All right, bath time. We got to end it. Andy has a family, okay? And I have
Well,
some more
they're not
pot to
home from
smoke.
school yet, but one other little thing I loved in this, they brought back the Alien Vision from Alien 3. I'm not a fan of Alien 3, but one of the things I love is you see the Alien Vision when you go down we see that
Yeah.
it's kind of that same shot where you see the viewpoint from the alien in this episode, which
Oh,
I
I
thought
didn't
was,
make that connection. That's
yeah.
cool.
I think Alien 3 was the first time we ever saw it, and we haven't seen it a lot since then, if we ever have. I don't remember if we saw it in Resurrection, but, or, I mean,
GoPro on the alien head.
yeah, I thought that was cool. Otherwise, I'm trying to think if there was anything else I had. Oh, he calls on the call, Petrovich calls it the Progeny Company, and
Oh, I like that.
he's like no Prodigy as in the Boy Wonder, but the Progeny, and this so much
Yeah.
about kids and everything.
Yep.
Is it possible that I'll just do a speed round here that the captain was pregnant? We see her having sex multiple times. Alien pregnancy is such a huge, I don't know what that
Definitely.
would mean.
Definitely.
So, otherwise, I think
Probably
that's
not
about.
alive now.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I mean, we technically didn't see her get killed, but she was getting mauled, so I'd be
That's
shocked if she was
true.
still alive. I loved this had my favorite needle drop of the series. We'll meet again. Had me very much thinking about Slim Pickens falling to the earth in Doctor Strangelove right before the ship is
Yeah.
crashing. We hear we'll meet again. Very much love that needle drop in this. It's played a
Oh,
couple times.
also the Smashing Pumpkins,
Ah,
man.
yes.
Come on,
Yeah,
dude.
Cherub Rock to take us out was
Are you
awesome
kidding?
too.
Dude, I was back in fucking Rutgers, 1992 or whatever, fucking
Yeah.
taking a hit of a fucking blunt going, and everyone just like fucking, ah. I never saw them
Yes.
live though, Smashing Pumpkins. You know, it's the
You
one
know,
band I didn't see live.
I had a chance to during my summer. One of my in between my summer schools, they played a free concert in Minneapolis out on the street, a free street concert, and
Really?
like 100 some thousand people went to it. And it was over my summer break, and I didn't go back to campus. I still kicking myself because I was in their prime. That
Yeah,
still
I just
disappointed I
never
didn't go
got it. I
back.
don't know why. I just really I never got a chance. I saw Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. I
Hmm.
saw all those bands. I saw Oasis, Blur, the Charlatans. Of course, I didn't get to see the Stone Roses, the best of them all. That's
I'm sure we'll hear some more of these
my dream.
bands as time goes because we're getting a lot of '90s rock bands
Yeah, but
in
that's
this
not the same,
series.
man.
So
I don't give a
no,
fuck.
no.
You mean? Oh, I thought you meant come back as a tour.
Oh
Come
no,
out
no,
in
no,
the
no, no,
show.
no. I mean in
Oh
the
yeah,
show. I mean in
yeah.
the
No,
show.
but that's awesome because you know what it always reminds me of is fucking uh, my all-time greatest, which almost made me cry. I still think to me is the best needle drop of all time, which is Where Is My Mind at the end
Oh, and
of
Fight Club.
Fight Club. I went berserk when and so did all my friends. We went to see Fight Club, and when that
Uh-huh.
at the end when that played, we were like, yeah, because we fucking love the Pixies. Everyone
Yeah.
has to love the Pixies, and that was my favorite. I just get chills thinking about it now. That was the best. But
That
that's
is a
what
great
these
one.
remind me of.
Hmm.
like that kind of 90s,
Yeah,
that
it has a very
when that
90s
drum
feel.
roll started, I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And then we pull
That's
out. Now, see, that's what
I,
I'm saying. Like when you do that, there's a reason, right? Like he's saying, it's coming, motherfucker. It started small.
yep.
Morrow by himself. Well, guess what he has now? He has this not he doesn't just have this building. He has this city. He
That
has
whole
this
city, yeah.
country. He has a fifth of the world on his anything he wants, he has now to get
And
into
it's
his country.
we even though it was brief, we see a second city. That's definitely not New Siam. It's the
Yeah,
one of the Wayland cities. So we're slowly being introduced to bigger players, and yeah, I love that expanding of the mythology too. So
awesome.
yeah.
All
So
right.
should we get out of here? I got some more water bottles I got to go scrub out just to
Yeah,
be sure.
I know, man. God, whew, that was. I have definitely drank like just drank a water bottle and looked in it and be like, "What the fuck is that, man? Something's
Uh-huh.
floating in that." So we've all been there. All right,
Well,
thank.
anytime you've had kids, you have that
Oh
happen. So
God, yeah, pieces of a fucking Cheerio and shit,
yeah, I was like,
or
"Oh."
sausage from yesterday's breakfast.
Yes.
Um, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for downloading. We really, I wanted to address just really quickly, figure I'll do it at the end. Andy put in some work and he made a new image for our awesome show. I put it up, and I think a lot of people didn't realize that the podcast had dropped a new episode. A lot of even though I love the artwork, and thank you Andy for your hard
Yes, I
work,
do too, but yeah, completely understood what happened.
and we changed it, and then I had to change it back for other reasons as well. So I changed it back to the artwork, but maybe at some point it's because we didn't use it, we're using like their image, which is fine because we're talking about their show. This is, we're commenting on it. That's allowed. You're allowed to do that. But it would be, I don't know, if anybody wants to send in, if anyone has an idea, has some original artwork that they want to send in, send it in. But I think maybe we'll just stick with it since we're just starting. Maybe if we do a new season, after people recognize it, because when I changed it back, all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, like the downloads went back. Everyone realized we dropped an episode, and I was like, wow, that really changed a lot. So I
Yeah.
do want to thank people for downloading it. Also, I'm doing a new thing for those of you who are new to DVR podcast. For a long time, we had a great advertiser with us, Cufflinks. They've been gone for a while. I really wasn't trying to do much advertising, but now I am. We are, I should say. So this is being hosted by Acast, and we you have to wait like a month. We've hit the threshold to get ads on, so you may start hearing ads. If you don't want to hear ads, you can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/DVR. And you know what? Become a Patreon supporter, even if you want to become a free one, because we drop lots of exclusive pods. We'll just get on and chat. And this weekend is going to be a ton of stuff that's going to be up on Patreon first. So, everyone, thank you so much. Thanks for the downloads. Andy, thanks for the artwork. We'll leave it at that. This is the longest episode. We're now twice as long as the episode itself, almost. But it's all worth it, baby. A great way to spend the afternoon talking about this awesome show. Peace out, everybody. Take care.